Ahoy hoy all, Druss here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today in this video I've decided to do one final vanilla showcase of my elven city of Don-Golin that's in the world map I built of the realm of Midgard several years ago. Now I decided to do this having followed my last showcase of Port Bloodsand. This is the only other real vanilla build that I'm satisfied with of all my other builds. I completed this build after moving to, or during my move to the Conquest Reforged mod pack. Now this build, or this city, can be accessed via road from the other desert city of Alatrady, and following the road from Alatrady you come to a massive forest which I also built, and you follow the road through the forest, and then eventually you get peeps and glimpses of the city that's to come. Now it's an elven city, as I mentioned, and the name Don-Golin is an obvious play on the name of Gondolin, which is the Elvish city of Turgon from the Tolkien's Legendarium. So as you follow the road, you come to the great gates of the city, and the city itself is surrounded by a lake or a moat, and is built almost entirely using quartz. And I was heavily inspired by, when I was building it, I visited the Darwin Reforged server and was heavily inspired by the FebCon 18 competition plots, which were vastly helpful. And also on the Artecraft server I visited several of their builds, but mostly was inspired by the city of Forlond there. Now as you enter the gates, I decided against the portcullis and decided on great gates that were slightly open. In this I also used and started to utilize Minecraft armor stands properly, and also Minecraft heads for decorations, additional decorations, because at that point, as I said, between having moved from Port Bloodsand and deciding that I really wasn't getting enough decoration and detail in my vanilla builds, and I was going to use the Conquest Reforged mod pack, again that was reinforced when building this city. And as I said, during the city and towards the completion of it, I moved fully to Conquest Reforged into the Darwin Reforged server. So when you enter the city itself, you're greeted by a small little market square with a folly in front of you. Now the city, unlike Port Bloodsand, every building is individual, so there are no kind of terrace buildings or anything like that. I wanted to space out the builds a little more and also include as much greenery as was possible while building it, just to give it again that elvish feel. The word Don-Golin itself, according to the lore of my world, means the jewel of the forest. And I didn't use shutters again for the windows. I wanted it to be slightly different and to have a slightly different feel. Now, according again to the lore of the world, the colours of the windows represent different houses or clans within it. So as you come through the gates and through the folly, you come onto the main thoroughfare, which has water, which with Optifine and biomes is now green but is usually blue, and that leads you towards the main castle. Now the main castle itself was built on a rocky outcrop, which I did by hand. There was no world edit in this. I did the entire thing by hand and it took forever. As you see now, the biomes are slightly changing to make the water blue. Again, each house, each block of the road, each tree and piece of organics was deliberately laid by hand and was very, very carefully placed. I wanted to give a real elvish vibe to the place, so there are numerous statues through the build. As I said, lots and lots of greenery and little areas for seating and that sort of thing, where I thought the elves could live in contemplation. it is on a hill, so the buildings are built to accommodate that, and as I said, lots and lots of little areas for the elves to sit down and relax, and live a life of leisure, whilst being surrounded by as much greenery as possible, and to reflect the forest that the city sits within. Again, there's a lot more follies within this building itself, a lot of buildings for building's sake as opposed to buildings that are functional and lived in, which they also have, but again, I just allowed myself that bit much more freedom to build different things that I typically wouldn't have within my previous builds of Seven Hills and Alatrady and Port Bloodsand, which are the other main cities within the actual build and the world itself. I'm also using for the first time today the Minecraft cinematic camera, which is built into the game itself. I wasn't even aware it existed, but a friend of mine, Sil, clued me in, suggested I use it, and I'm doing my best. It's slightly difficult to control, but does allow for less jerky movements, which I have found were plaguing my videos prior to this. So the build itself has lots of bigger buildings, and slightly more artistically, and as I said, more folly-ish, to say. That is to say that the roofs they jut out quite a bit more, and they're a lot more decorative. This itself is the palace. Again, I wanted it to be slightly more alien and ethereal in atmosphere. The palace includes an observatory that the elves view the stars from, and again, that was rather shamelessly robbed, the idea of it, from the FebCon plot from the Darwin Reforged server. This building here is meant to be part of the castle complex. It's, according to the lore of the world, the matriarch, the mother of the king, or the original king of the city, still lives there, and she's meant to be thousands of years old. I also allowed myself within this build, I gave some small tributes to people who had been decent and kind enough to review my world on YouTube at that point. So there is a building, and we shall try and find it, for Studio Winthor, who did several videos on Midgard, and thank you very, very much for that. I think they reviewed Port Bloodsand. They've also reviewed this city in their own native German, and again, I really do appreciate it greatly. So if you come up the main thoroughfare, you come to Winthor Lusiquimple, which is the High Clerus, and that's the nod to them. And I also built a small building for who has now become a very good friend of mine, Sir Geeky Gamer, who has a fantastic YouTube channel, and well worth checking out. He's fairly popular at this stage and is moving towards 10,000 subscribers, so he's obviously a fairly experienced, and he does really, really great Minecraft content as well. I think we shall try and find his building. It should be somewhere around here. This may be it here. So Geeky, this is your building here. Again, an incredibly detailed little one. Sir Knight Commander, Sir Geeky Gamer. And there he is, just there to say hi. Again, I did use, as you can see there, quite a few Minecraft heads to decorate the world. They're dotted throughout the city. It was my compromise for playing vanilla without the decoration that's available within Conquest Reforged. And again, Minecraft heads are wonderful, and we still do use them on Conquest Reforged fairly often. And I think Lord Raisin, who created the Minecraft heads database and the Minecraft heads website, really does deserve some credit for that. They are a wonderful tool, particularly if you are using vanilla. Again, I would suggest personally moving towards Conquest Reforged. It's a fantastic mod pack and really takes Minecraft to the next level. Almost, it's as close to a different game while being Minecraft as you can. And this building here, which is a diagonal building, was to High Lord Vinzusaur. Vinzusaur is another YouTuber who did some reviews on Midgard at the time. So again, thank you very, very much, Vinzusaur. Long before I began YouTube, these guys were decent enough to review my world, and I really do appreciate it greatly. So here we have it. The city itself is dotted with little market spaces, and there are nods to all sorts of fantasy series that I read in my youth, like Tantahalis there is the name for Tanis Half-Elven from the Dragonlance books. There's nods to Tolkien, there's nods to Dungeons and Dragons, there's nods to vast amounts of fantasy books and series and literature, and that sort of thing. So as you can see, it was a relatively extensive city, bigger than Port Bloodsand, but a lot smaller than Seven Hills, which was my initial city that I shall never personally review myself, because I was only learning the ropes to Minecraft back then. Not that I've learned too much, I'm still nowhere near as good as the vast majority of the players I play with. They inspire me every day, and they really are the people who you ought to be checking out. Hop onto the Darwin Reforged server, look at the works of some of the people I've done plot reviews of, and some of the people I haven't had an opportunity to do plot reviews of yet. They are magnificent builders and really, really, really deserving of credit, and these are the guys that really do inspire you. The likes of Dukon and my friend Ronan and Filthy Coin, they all have YouTube channels of their own, well, those three in particular that I'm just after mentioning, and are really worth visiting and taking a look at some of their content, because you will find so much more inspiration than I can possibly ever show or give you. This being a little market square that's covered in vines and that sort of thing. So look, this was it. There's not much more to show. I shall leave a link to description, so you can actually download this entire world. Come visit the city yourself, and if you do, let me know what you think of it. It, weirdly enough, is a relatively popular world. It's approaching, I think, 250,000 downloads at this point, for some bizarre reason. But I would really appreciate thoughts on it. It's not something I would ever build again. Vanilla is a great game, and has a lot to be proud of and that sort of thing. But again, personally, I think that Conquest Reforged is the way people ought to be building, if they can at all. It is a far, far greater medium for people who play creative and want to take their builds to the next level. But I suppose for vanilla, this was my crowning achievement. It was about as good as I have ever been capable of building within vanilla, before I started using Conquest Reforged and relying heavily on the fact that I could use the mod pack to enhance what I was able to do. But anyway, I suppose that's that for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it if you did. If you did, please leave a like and comment. That's what helps me become popular on the algorithm, I believe. So again, thank you very, very much for watching. Until next time, when I'm back to Conquest Reforged, and this is, I think, the last time I will ever review a vanilla plot. I'm unlikely to do so again, just owing to the fact that Conquest Reforged is my personal preferred way of playing Minecraft, and that's what I want to evangelize, and that's what I want to promote. So this is it for my vanilla builds, and I shall be moving on from here on in, moving Conquest Reforged purely. Again, thank you very, very much for watching. Stay frosty one last time, and goodbye.